My resume was not stellar at all. What? 2 days later, I got the rejection email. I became a different person. I'm crunchy. Talking and eating hurts. My ADHD is coming out. But the pandemic has nothing on me. I've been so happy.
I don't think about the memory. The girl I see, she's finally free.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anupya if you're new, and I am a software engineer at Google, specifically Google Cloud. Today I thought I would just sit down and chat with you guys about how I got to Google and talk a little bit about my interview process and my career path. It's not your typical I applied, I interviewed, and I got the job and I became a software engineer at Google. It was a lot more complicated than that, and it was a 5-month long process. Also, I've literally always wanted to do a mukbang, so here we are today. I got some Buffalo Wild Wings. I got some fries because you can't not have fries from Buffalo Wild Wings. Then I also got garlic parmesan. There we go. Garlic parmesan. And then chipotle barbecue. This one was kind of a gamble because I've never gotten it before. I don't want it to fall out because it's a dry rub. There we go. And then they gave me celery. I hate celery. And then some ranch. Been craving wings for a really long time, so I'm really excited for this. I'm such a messy eater, so wish me luck. Yeah, stick around if you want to hear about my interview process, how I got to Google, and how I had to go through 5 different roles to get to be what I am today. If you're computer science, or if you're here for advice on software engineering, or if you're here to just watch me eat, or if you just want career advice in general on how to get to a big company like Google, I would appreciate you so much if you hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be talking about all of those things on my channel and more. Okay, let me see if I can take a first bite. Ugh, I don't know what to try. Let's try with the fry. They're stale. Not bad, actually. I love fries. But anyway, let's talk resume. Let me just say, my resume was not stellar at all. I started as a biomedical engineering major pre-med in college, and I transferred to CS 2 years in, the summer after my sophomore year. I finished the major in 2 years, and the biology and chemistry classes killed my GPA. That also meant I only had 1 summer during my CS degree to get an internship, and that was a lot of pressure because I think for computer science jobs in general, they care more about experience than classes and grades in your major. The world is kind of shifting that way, so that stressed me out. I ended up getting 1 internship in Sacramento because I had to be taking summer classes at Davis because I couldn't afford to graduate late. I honestly don't even know if this company still exists. I also did a part-time IT job on campus, and it wasn't fancy or anything, but I was making money and I was getting some experience in real-world technology. I learned a lot, but they aren't obviously the internships that you expect to see on a Google engineer's resume. There was also a lot of side projects that I worked on with friends, and I think those really made a difference because really showing that I'm actually passionate about this. I loved computer science. That's why I made the switch so late. Better late than never, right? So I built my dance team's first website, and I also participated or worked on some things with my friends from the Bay Area at a Y Combinator startup, so I helped them start it up. And then I learned React, learned web applications and front end. So when I got an interview at Google, I was like, what? It's so good. I just really want to keep eating these fries. Full already. Okay. So anyway, my first step into Google was what I thought was the only step forward, to just apply online. I applied actually directly via a recruiter that came to campus. So we had a computer science club that would host big companies, give us the opportunity to talk to a recruiter or something. So I handed my resume to a real person, which I think helped a lot. And I guess I made an impression because I got an interview after that. I had my software technical round in December. And I'm not going to get into the specifics of why this happened, but this was a 90-minute HackerRank interview. Very typical HackerRank, 2 graphs problems, I think. And then obviously it was 90 minutes. I only had an hour to finish this. I'm not going to get into why because it's really complicated, and maybe I'll talk about it later. And I had recognized these problems going into this from previous LeetCode problems, thankfully, so I knew exactly how to solve them. But within the hour, I knew that I was not going to be able to finish it efficiently. I also told my recruiter my situation, and she was understanding about it, but I left comments wherever the code could be better, explained my logic behind. That's the biggest thing, right? They're trying to understand how you think, and during an online technical interview when you're not talking to an interviewer, that's harder to get across, so comment whenever you can. And then I passed most of the test cases, but not all, and I was praying that I passed, but I had a really good feeling I wasn't going to. This is so good. Chipotle barbecue is up. I normally don't like ranch, but we'll give it a shot. But yeah, so I did the hacker rank. 2 days later, I got the rejection email. Not surprised, honestly, and I thought that was it. I'm not getting a job at Google. And then, within, I think, a couple weeks, I'd been interviewing at more companies, and a Google recruiter like reached out to me. They were starting a new program at Google, and they were like, would you want to interview for this? And I was obviously intrigued, like it's Google, never say no to an interview. So I was like, yes, of course. And getting a second chance, I think, is not common. So that was just pure luck. I don't know how it happened. Oh, good. I don't know if y'all can hear the crunching of this, but Buffalo Wild Wings always guaranteed crunch. Anyway, so for this program, there were 7 interviews. Half behavioral, problem solving, sales, graphs problem again, technical, and this was a whiteboarding problem, so I was on the call with the recruiter and I could talk out loud, which was great. Whiteboarding is also nerve-wracking because you can't compile your code and know if it works. But I somehow passed all of them. I was doing leak code, like cracking the coding interview. Y'all are actually on top of that book right now. And that whole process of how I prepared for the interviews that year could be a whole video in itself, so I won't get into it. So I started in February. May, 2 weeks before graduation, I got my offer. I was so stressed because I had another offer for like a full-time software engineering role at a startup that I had to give an answer to. Thank God I waited, so I got the offer and I was a noogler. That's what they call new Googlers. I think it's cute. Try the garlic parmesan. Anything cheese, I tell you. How's my heart? But okay, this program, the CTR program, or the Cloud Technical Residency, was a program for new graduates. It could be bachelor's or master's, and you get pulled through an intensive boot camp and you rotate through 3 different cloud customer-facing technical roles. And it's a 16-month total program. So you're basically just, it's kind of like a master's program, but it's not like an official degree or anything, but that's what it felt like. Because you were just learning, so it was okay to make mistakes and stuff, which is really nice. And there's 25 of us new grads. This is the first year they were doing it. So all of us were sitting there like with imposter syndrome and unsure of how we got here. I grew so much throughout this program, like, I became a different person. Just being surrounded by such smart and driven people at Google just like pushes you to want to do better, right? And I networked, I took advantage of every opportunity I could. There's also this thing called 20% projects. So at Google, like 80% of your work should be dedicated to your core role, and then 20% you can use to learn or like volunteer with another team or something. And throughout the end of the rotation, I placed out into my first choice, customer engineering. And I think they call it sales engineering at other companies. It was my last rotation and I loved it, so I just seamlessly flew right into that team. And it's not software yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You gotta be patient with your career, okay? So customer engineering, I'm not eating, I'm just talking. I love her. Ow! I don't know how people sit on their knees for long periods of time. Oh my god, my closet's open! That's annoying. Whatever. It's clean. Okay. So customer engineering is a technical sales role. You basically work with customers to see how their workloads, their infrastructures would fit onto Google Cloud Platform, or GCP. I got to touch different parts of our tech stack and our customers' tech stacks, and I worked with some pretty big companies. Like I can't obviously talk about it, but being a customer engineer was so beneficial early on in my career. Like we learned so much. Now throughout the role, whenever there was an opportunity to implement something, I took advantage of it. It was easiest to be confident in the technology and talking to the customer about it when I knew it in and out, right? So I implemented it whenever I could, and I took advantage of the fact that I was a computer science background, as was most of my team. They didn't care as much about furthering that side of their career versus like I did, so I took advantage of all of that. And with every customer, there was also an excuse to go talk to like a PM or an engineer. But if I had questions about their jobs or about like the technology in general, I could ask it without being like shamed. And I also got to learn about like what that side of things at Google looks like. Like sales is one thing, but like behind the scenes actually building the product is a whole different thing. And we got to influence like product roadmaps and things like that. Like I really got to understand what their day-to-day also looked like. I feel like I'm so short. I'm gonna get a pillow. I'm gonna sit on a pillow. Oh, pillow. My pillow isn't even tall. Okay. Now in the early 2020, Google Cloud went through a giant reorganization. TK became CEO, and then a lot of things changed, and it was also fantastic for me, and I'll get into why. I didn't really know what to expect. My entire team was really, really skeptical. Well, at the same time, I was traveling like January through March of that year, literally every weekend, to DJ at a different dance competition. It got chaotic. This is pre-pandemic, so don't come for me. Like, I wasn't traveling. And I got all expense paid trips to these different cities, right? Most of which had Google offices in them, because we literally had offices everywhere. So I took advantage of this opportunity of Google's like flexible work from any office policy. I networked the hell out of those weekends. My previous role in CTR, like the residency program, helped me meet so many people that worked like across the US. So I would always like meet up with them, get coffee, lunch. And we'll come back to why this is beneficial in a second. I basically took advantage of every opportunity. So with the Google reorg, my entire team got moved into a new role called solution engineering. So now they proposed the role as if it wasn't going to be too different from customer engineering. We're currently doing very different work to what we were told we would be doing in March. But see, I got thrown into this role, and at this point I was an expert at finding the technical opportunities and establishing myself in them as a technical necessary resource. I think that in the beginning of my career I was open to learning about anything, and then at this point, early 2020, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go down into the software stuff. I'm gonna really focus on my next step in my career. So none of us were trained for this role or interviewed like for this role, obviously, and we were very understaffed for the amount of work we were about to get, and we didn't know it at the time. But I was also really motivated. The pandemic had just started. I had nothing else better to do, and in this role I had the opportunity to actually specialize in healthcare and life sciences, which is something I really wanted, because like I was pre-med in biomedical engineering for a reason. I wanted to be in the biotech space, but I thought being computer science would be the best way to get there. This was like perfect. You can imagine like how much imposter syndrome I had at this point. Like, we were thrown into a new role we knew nothing about. I'm so bad at eating and talking. I get why mukbangers don't speak. So remember when I said I was traveling a lot before the pandemic? Well, my last trip before the pandemic happened, literally the weekend I came back, everything went into lockdown. I was in DC, and I got to meet my director in person. So in January, we got a new director, and I got to meet him in person in March. We got coffee. I told him about this small project that I'd been working on, like as part of the Cloud Technical Residency program. And he was like super excited about it. So we actually ended up getting lunch, and I talked to him more about it. And because of this, I was able to propose this project as an official part of our team and establish the foundation of an internal tool. And he approved it. This changed everything for me. I became technical lead on this, and I felt like we were starting a project, like a product from ground up internally. And a lot of Google Cloud products start out internal. If we do well enough, it becomes an external product as well. It felt like we were standing this up from scratch, right? Like marketing it, setting up infrastructure, obviously the code and everything. We are still going strong to this day, and honestly, it's the best thing that could have happened to me. Like, I can't get into more of it because it's obviously internal. It's literally my baby, my child. On the day-to-day outside of that, I work with healthcare product and solution teams still to position assets for our internal teams, and also like I get to stay pretty close to the Google code base with the healthcare teams. Also, so I did a lot when the pandemic started. And crunchy. When the pandemic started, I also started a 20% project with Verily as a UX engineer, and obviously a whole new stack and new opportunities to learn, new people to meet. It was really exciting, and I'm still working with them. But yeah, that's what I am right now. So what did I learn? A lot. Obviously, you can tell my life has changed a lot in the last 2 years. Like, I went from coming from college to not really knowing where I was going in the industry, in the field. So joining this program, having the flexibility to think about it, joining a role I thought would be full-time, being dropped into another role that I didn't know anything about, and loving it. And now I'm here. It's very nice. Oh, I bit my tongue. But yeah, take what you want away from this, but my biggest advice to you, take advantage of everything. You never know where it can lead you. Like, I did not know what was going to happen when I said yes to all of these things. There was a lot of things I tried and failed, I wasted my time on. But no matter what, I always learned something. Like, I always came out of it not regretting taking that step, because I would learn like something technical I would learn a life lesson, a soft skill. I would always learn how to recover from a mistake. I would always go into the next opportunity in a better state than I was before. Mistakes aren't bad, mistakes are good, embrace them. And with each win and loss, I would grow, and it became easier and easier to make mistakes. And the majority of my day-to-day right now is product management and software engineering, because I made it that way. It is not what the rest of my team does. I made my role this way because I took advantage of it. I molded it. So I guess I'm saying, pave your own path. Oh my god, I can eat anything. I could eat the celery. I guess what I'm saying is, like, pave your own path. Everyone is different. Because, like, your life isn't going to play out the same way my life is. Just be open to change, stay open-minded, stay motivated when faced with difficulty, and it'll always work out. That's what I've learned. The more out of your comfort zone you are, too, the more likely you are to grow, right? The more likely you are to come out, like, smarter and confident, because you can bounce back. I don't like celery. But that's my path here. Leave a comment below if you have any other questions, but I didn't eat anything, so now I'm gonna eat. So if you made it this far, like right now, comment below Noogle. Okay, thank you. But also if you made it this far, do me a solid and hit that thumbs up. And also that subscribe button. And also that bell icon. And I would love you so much. You know. Subscribe to me. Share this with someone who's like scared of the future. I don't know what's about to happen next. You're freaking out. I was that person. I can sit here and speak so confidently because I made it through it. Y'all, I'm not the same person I was like 2 years ago. I love myself right now. I hope my story helps y'all. If you have any questions, leave them below. Or DM me on Instagram. All my social media info is also down below. I'm gonna be so sleepy after this. I should go get some coffee. I honestly get Starbucks so often. I should probably invest in Starbucks stock. Like, it's a community, not just a brand of coffee, you know? But also, I feel like I go to Starbucks because the drive around my house is so pretty. Whenever I need a break, I feel like getting in the car, blasting music. That is my happy place. I don't want that. I'm honestly like full. How did we used to go on like dinner and lunch dates with our friends and like people and like talk? Talking and eating hurts. My journey was kind of whack, so I know how blessed I am. I know how lucky I am. I'm so comfortable in life right now. I'm just so content. Like, the pandemic has nothing on me. I've been so happy. What are your career goals? Or just life goals, honestly? Our days shouldn't be defined by our career. They should be defined by the small things. Like, I feel like when I started being like super happy was when I stopped tying my happiness to work and more to like the small things every day. Coffee, the unpredictability of my job, these like small meals. My mom makes such good food also. The joy of my room. It's a new environment, new house. There's so much to be grateful for right now. Look, all the people in the CTR program, like part of my cohort at least, we all ended up in such different places. Which is crazy. I met some really close friends in this program. My knee. Oh. I wonder how mukbangers sit so still. My ADHD is coming out. I ate a good amount. Like I had 3 of these, and a ton of fries. I honestly think I'm gonna call it quits. So that's all I really had to say about Google. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I love you guys so much. Follow me on all my socials, they're all down below. Let me know if you guys like these mukbangs. I know I didn't eat that much, I'll try to eat more next time. I normally eat more than this, I don't know what's happening. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!